the fixation on testing, the attacks on teachers and their unions. They're all proxies for attacks on public education. That's what this comes down to. Whether people believe that kids have the right to good public schools close to where they live, and despite what anyone says, parents are with us on that, or whether our public education system should be privatized, bled dry, or abandoned altogether. What two things have done more than anything else to build the greatest middle class in the world? The union movement and public education. Yet, our adversaries want to knock out these two pillars on which the middle class is built at the very moment the middle class is teetering on the edge. So, it falls upon us, all of us, to be the foot soldiers for equality and opportunity, voice and democracy. Just as previous generations were soldiers for freedom and for civil rights, we must now band together as soldiers in a struggle not just for ourselves, not even just for our children in our classrooms, but for a different and better America. But there are also things that are not, strictly speaking, our jobs, but that reflect our ideals. Economic opportunity, strengthening communities, fairness, democracy. If these sound like our values and our principles, it's because they're part of our DNA. More than ever, we need to unite those we represent and those we serve. We must take on the very things that we cannot do alone, but will not be done without us. This new reality, this new normal, demands an entirely new approach to unionism, an approach that is relevant and appropriate to the 21st century, an approach that is creative and visionary and unites the people we represent and the people we serve, our students, our patients, our families, and our communities. Solution-driven unionism. More than ever, we need to act in innovative, creative, and new ways, simultaneously refuting our critics, advancing our values, connecting with community, and proposing solutions. That's solution-driven unionism. And that's the choice we're making. A choice not simply to call out what doesn't work, but what does. A choice not simply to advocate, but to activate. A choice not simply, brothers and sisters, to survive, but to succeed. What does work is to rely on the professional judgments of millions of educators who have devoted their lives to educating Americans' children in our public schools. That should always carry more weight than the musing of millionaires who wouldn't survive 10 minutes in front of a classroom. I look at it this way. We're rebuilding the middle class on multiple fronts. Every day in schools, universities, healthcare facilities, and other work sites, AFT members are helping children and their families achieve a better future. And while you're at work building futures, some of your pension dollars will be at work putting other union workers to work, building the middle class of today as they build the infrastructure of tomorrow. Let's talk about Detroit. From the auto worker on the assembly line to the teacher in the classroom, day in and day out, Detroiters are trying to bring this city back. By bringing our convention here, the AFT is doing the same. So I see this presidential election not as a referendum on President Obama, but as a day of judgment for a way of life, for our values, for our democracy, for opportunity, for fairness, and for the future of our country. Mitt Romney says he would preserve the Department of Education only so he had a club to beat back unions. Yes, you heard me correctly. He would use a federal agency to strip workers of a constitutionally protected right. The choice in this presidential election is too clear, the stakes too high for us to sit this one out. We need to be there for President Obama. We need to be out there for Vice President Biden. We need to be there in the 435 House races, the 33 Senate races, the 12 gubernatorial elections, and in all those places where ballot initiatives try to deprive us of our rights and of our country's future. Will we be out there this fall? That's the AFT way. So, brothers and sisters, this is our charge: to connect with community in new ways, to support each other in new and not so new ways, to stand up and stand strong for those we represent and those we serve, to engage in solution-driven unionism. And it began here, and it began with you. Thank you.